Ready, set, go.
Okay, it's been a little bit. I knew this was gonna happen. I've got my priorities in order, okay? There's been a lot of big albums have been coming out this spring. I'm aware of all of them. I see everything, okay? So this is the next one. Obviously this was the next one because it's the one after the previous one. That makes sense. We're sitting down and listening to Clancy, which is the new 21 Pilots album. Chances are most of the people watching this, A, already knew that from the title of the video, and B, have just been, if I know anything about 21 Pilots fans, being one myself, it's that y'all are just ravenous little beasties clamoring to get whatever 21 Pilots content you can get your grubby little paws on. Okay, I know you because you're me, alright? So let's just get that all out in the open. Speaking of getting things all out in the open, I was very pleased when Tyler Joseph made his little lore video being like, alright, in case it wasn't clear, which for many of us it hasn't, here's the lore up until this point. I'm not gonna say that I've retained all of it for this video. I remember some of it. I know that Blurryface was the head priest guy of this dystopian class of people, and that Tyler and Josh had been kidnapped to make propaganda music for them, and that's kind of what Scaled and Icy was. I know that there's a whole resistance going on, and they've got the yellow duct tape and whatnot. And now we're here with Clancy, the name of the protagonist. Tyler being Clancy. In all the music videos, Tyler is playing Clancy. Tyler is not playing Tyler Joseph. In the music videos, Tyler is playing Clancy. All good? We all square? If I'm getting that wrong, you can yell at me in the comments. We have 13 tracks going. I may have to pause in the middle of this recording session to do rehearsal for a play I'm in. But I'm gonna get this all done in one day. I'm getting this all done in one day. It just might, I might cut at a certain point. It'll be nighttime. But we got 13 tracks running at about 48 minutes all combined, which is a good healthy plump album length. I don't know if they've said anything style wise other than that this is the final arc. This is a final album in the whole story arc that started with Blurryface, and then we had Trench, and now we've got Clancy. This is the Act 3. This is the this is the 21 Pilots equivalent of Take Me Back to Eden, if you will. For all my 21 Pilots and Sleep Token fans, if you're watching this, specific shout out to you. But let's get started right frickin' away, because I am a little I do want to get as much of this album done while I've got daylight as I can. I have not heard any of these songs. I have made a concerted effort to not listen to any of this music. It's taken conscious effort. So I'm excited to give my ears a very, very first listen to this. Let's start with Overcompensate. Had the freaking output on the wrong channel, but I was hearing it and it was cool. Okay, oh, wobbly. Why are we speaking in German? Okay, well, now that was French. It's still French. Okay. Now, I think that's Spanish. It might not be. Ooh.
Welcome back to Trent.
Ooh. Okay, yeah, this is... Alright, yeah, this is 21 Pilots, alright.
Welcome back to Trent.
Thank you. Thank you for welcoming me back to Trench. It's nice to be back. Right. Oh, he's bringing it back to control. Oh, interesting. Salo Felino. What the frick does that mean? Is that... What is Salo Felino? We'll get into it later. Interesting. Oh. What? Wait, what indeed? Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. The dangerous bend symbol? Okay, so first off, this is very much more similar to the sound of Trench than it was of Scaled and Icy, which which in the story makes a lot of sense. I'm really enjoying it. This is nice. This is encouraging. I like this. I liked the little groove change up earlier on there going into the verse. That was neat. I'm the kind of 21 Pilots listener that is always waiting for Tyler to just kind of let her rip. You know, you're in your sort of like, you know, your trees and your jumpsuits sort of vibes. I like it when they go real hard. So I'm gonna be waiting for that. If it doesn't happen, you know, maybe I won't be too enthusiastic about it. But that doesn't mean it's bad. It just means it's not gonna hit the buttons that I was looking for. This is an encouraging first sign, is what I'm saying. Is I really liked Trench, and this sounds like Trench, so I like it so far.
Where I'm from, I was born right here, just now. Originated right in front of your eyes. If you can't see, I am Clancy. Prodigal son done.
Right. Hey, there he is. So, is Josh Dunn just himself in this story? like Tyler is Clancy, but is Josh Dunn just Josh Dunn? Is that how it works? Okay. All right, fair enough. No problem with that. Oh, dude. Ooh. Oh, we're getting weird. Where are we going from here? Ooh. Okay. Nice. Okay. All right. I see where we're going here. Nice. All right. That's a bop. That's some 21 Pilots right there. That's exactly what they sound like for sure. Clearly, we're jumping right in with some strong lore. This is a very lore heavy song, which I understand and appreciate. The words that were being spoken in various languages mean the secret island has weaponized me, which is a reference to one of the Clancy letters, which is, let's see where I can find this. Oh, I see. Oh boy, right. Oh God, Oh, this was all the shit that I... This was all the shit that I did not look into. Oh, and there's highlighted letters and things. Oh, boy. Okay. Well, I just don't have the impetus to get that deep into it. Like, it's cool music, but even with, like, you know, even with my favorite bands, I'm not gonna sit here and do a bunch of, like, anagrams to figure out the lore. I'm just not that kind of person. Maybe that's a fault of mine, but I'm just not that kind of person. Secret Island has weaponized me, which is probably a reference to the fact that they were, like, kidnapped and used as propaganda machines, is what I'm gonna go with. If I am incorrect, chances are I'll get a nice handful of people correcting me. But let's get into these lyrics in the song itself. Okay, welcome back to Trench, which, fantastic. Then we go straight into the melody, or the one part from Bandito, which was, I created this world to feel some control, destroy it if I want, so I sing Salo Folina, which Salo Folina apparently means Somali, meaning to enable, while Folina is a name referring to one of creativity with a distaste for conformity and strict routine. There was a certain user on Reddit said this is what we cry out in Trench when we are in need, which is Salo Folina. Right. Okay, so this is this sort of, like, resistance, like, rebel cry expressing a need for non-conformity and, you know, expression and creativity. And so it kind of becomes this rallying cry. Verse 1, because he's rapping, so we got a lot of lyrics. You can pack a lot of words in there with this kind of music. Pick up on some specific ones. Chorus, I said I fly by the dangerous bend symbol. What the frick does that mean? This is a reference to the dangerous bend symbol Z, used to denote difficult sections in textbooks written by the Nicholas Bourbaki group of mathematicians. Right, I remember that name, Nicholas Bourbaki. I remember that. Yes, Nico and the Niners. In this lyric, Tyler flies by the sign, indicating he is not afraid of the dangers that lie ahead, daring himself to fully challenge his fears. Right. Tyler told Clara Amfo in an interview with BBC Radio 1, he says, in certain seasons of my life where, just completely ignore those sorts of signs and go full speed ahead and kind of learn the hard way in some ways. So a bit of that overcompensating is, overcorrecting. You're steering when trying to get back on course. Very cool. Okay, so that's that seems to be kind of the heart of this song, because the rest of the chorus is, and then by the time I catch in my peripheral, don't hesitate to maybe overcompensate. Take into account that times are hard, you're trying to get back on your feet, maybe you'll swing in a certain direction a little further than you should, but that's okay, because you can swing back and eventually you'll find your equilibrium, right? For the moment, don't worry about getting the preciseness of it right. Just, put in the effort, I think is kind of what he's trying to get across here. Bridge is, days feel like a perfect length. I don't need them any longer, but for goodness' sake, do the years seem way too short for my soul corazon. Way too short for my soul corazon. Tyler is referencing the adage, the days are long but the years are short, which is used universally to mean that each day feels long and tiring, yet life seems to pass rather quickly. The phrase is often used by parents, so it can be interpreted that Tyler is referring to his life as a parent, a nod to how fast children grow up, but how hard it can be to raise a child. Corazon, taken literally, means heart. Spanish for heart. Can also mean darling or sweetheart, courage or spirit. So the days feel nice and long. They're not too long, but the years feel too short. So maybe that is a reference to the fact that Tyler has been a parent for a little bit now, and is learning how quickly children can grow up. Neat. Okay, we're gonna keep moving here to track number 2. Next semester. Oh, punchy. Oh, I like this. Ooh, this is okay. We're getting punky. Okay. Ooh. I knew from the last album, because he mentions it in one of the songs in the last album, that Tyler had been learning guitar. But it is a little strange to hear an electric guitar in their music. I don't mind it. This is a really fun song so far. We're only 30 seconds in. I guess I just wasn't expecting to hear like this silly sort of like garage punk kind of sound from them. I'm enjoying it though. Okay.
I remember certain things. What I was wearing, the yellow dashes in the street. I pray those lights.
All right, we're building.
Take me home. Then I heard
Quick little hi-hat there. Cool. This is almost, it's cool how he's very like, they're very seamlessly kind of switching between the like quick, not, I don't know if I would call it double time, but like very quick punky rhythm into halftime. Like this refrain is just walking the line of halftime, especially with that like sort of ba-do-do-ba-do-do-ba. That's a very easy, that fill kind of leads very nicely into a halftime, but because the drums are so sparse, it's not explicitly halftime. Like they're not going straight into like a sort of deal. They're just sort of leaving it open, which then leaves sort of that standard tempo and rhythm to kind of be in the back of your head, ready for it to come back out. Nice, interesting state to be in. I'm also noticing Tyler vocals wise is also just sort of riding this line between screaming and singing. Like you're hearing a lot of like vocal fry, and he's letting his throatiness out ever so slightly, but not so much that it's a full scream yet. I think sometimes I might hear some screams like in the background, as he often does, but he hasn't broken the scream quite yet, and I'm anticipating that happening. I very much would like it to happen, and I'm excited for when/if it does.
I pray those lights would take me home. Then I heard, hey kid, get out of the road.
There you go. See you again. Just
And then he slowed down
there we go.
and rolled down his window. And he said,
What do you say? Oh. Into an acoustic guitar, eh? Oh. Alright, that's a choice. Sure.
It's a taste test
Okay.
of what I hate less.
Okay.
I don't wanna be here. Start fresh with a new year.
Right.
Can't change what you've done. Start fresh next semester.
Neat. Oh, I'm liking this album so far. We're only 2 songs in, but I am liking this. Gives me kind of the same energy as like the music video for Stressed Out. You know? It's got a little bit of that sort of like school time nostalgia to it. It's maybe sort of hitting some different emotional beats. It's this sort of sentiment of like, I don't really know or like where my life is at right now, and I really wish it could be something different. So like in Stressed Out, it's more into the nostalgia of like, I wish I could go back to when I was younger and things were simpler. Here, it's a little bit more sort of nebulous of like, I don't want to be here, literally says. But there's this thing of like, in the refrain, you can't change what you've done. Start fresh next semester, right? And but the start fresh next semester is the sort of thing of like, you still have to wait for that to happen. You still have to wait for the next semester to arrive. So until then, you just kind of have to believe that things can get better. As an interpretive song, it is difficult to pinpoint what Tyler Joseph is getting at exactly, but it is evident that next semester talks about one's struggles at a young age to find their place and identity. Sure, yeah, I see that. They're stuck between their mistakes from the past, one of which is presumed to be a failed suicide attempt. I didn't pick up on that. And the pressure to not fail in the future. Another popular interpretation is that the subject had a panic attack in the middle of the road, only somewhat aware of what was going on, evidenced by the loose details in their recount of the experience. I do like that Tyler tends to be a little bit more cryptic about what their music is about, lyrics-wise. Sometimes he'll come out and be like, this one's one of the more like lore-centric songs, but a lot of the times he is very much on the side of leaving things up for the listeners to decode, which has very much made the 21 Pilots fandom very enthusiastic about piecing together, you know, what does this mean? Is this lore related? Is this not lore related? Is this about mental health? Because a lot of their music is about mental health. It's a nice little test for us, and it's a nice little task. You know, it's enough of a task. I can decode this song and I can leave it at that. I don't feel the need to read whole journal entries. So let's start with verse 1. Stand up straight now, can't break down, graduate now, I don't want to be here, I don't want to be here. It's a taste test of what I hate less. Can you die of anxiousness? I don't want to be here, I don't want to be here. What's about to happen? What's about to happen? Into the chorus, I remember certain things. What I was wearing, the yellow dashes on the street. I prayed those lights would take me home. Then I heard, hey kid, get out of the road. Okay, so that might have been the implication of the suicide attempt, of just standing in the middle of the road waiting for the traffic to take you out. And instead of that happening, the person just stops and says, hey, get out of the road. And that kind of brings you back to reality. It's interesting that like they kind of flip-flop between sort of the like expressions and like inner experiences of this incident. Like talked about can't feel my legs in verse 2, might suffocate, there's a pressure in my chest, I don't want to be here. And then it kind of goes outward to the yellow dashes on the street and the person in the car saying, hey kid, get out of the road. Sort of this contrast of like the internal crisis and then the sort of very normalness of the actual like exterior circumstances. And then just this thing of like you can start fresh next semester. You can't change what you've done, you can't change what you've tried to do, but you can do different things later on. I would even be so bold as you don't even need to wait until next semester. You can start doing different things right now. Right now. At this moment, while you are thinking about maybe doing something different, you can start that right now. That's kind of what I've got for this song. Really enjoyed that. I've really enjoyed that like punchy punk sound. That was really, really fun. Okay, let's keep going to Backslide. Oh no. Are we backsliding already? It's song 3. We can't be backsliding already, please. Alright, well, let's... Maybe we're not actually backsliding. Maybe we're just talking about the idea of a backslide. Maybe that's it. Oh, okay. Back into the pop side. I'm down. That's neat. Ooh, weird. Alright.
To place, adding weight. Tendencies on repeat
In it.
From a shoe with no lace.
I'm sorry. Tyler, are you trying to pass yourself off as like a Cockney British person? Throwing in it's? Sounds weird to hear that from someone with an American accent in it. Sounds weird saying it as a Canadian person. It kind of works with the rhyme in this verse, but it feels weird.
Take the seat with the crease
in it.
I
There you
don't
go.
mind if it's lonely. I don't mind if it's fair. I don't care, you control me, leading me anywhere. I don't wanna backslide to where I've started from. There's no chance I will shake this again. 'Cause I feel the pull, water's over my head. Strength enough.
That's how it. That's how farty synth bass in the back. That synth bass is tooting up a storm right there. Jeez.
It's over my head.
Okay.
Bad place
Okay.
on $100 base. Kinda wishing that I never did Saturday.
Oh,
Is that a stain?
interesting.
You should change. Are you doing good?
Huh.
Did you solve all of your problems? Thanks for asking in a way, but accidentally uncovered a new one yesterday. What happened to what I brushed under the rug I used to be? A champion of a world you can't see. Now I'm drowning in logistics. I don't wanna backslide. I'll take anything you have. If you could throw me a line.
Alright. Are we gonna go any bigger than this? That crash kind of implied that we might, but we don't have to.
It's over my head. You should let go. It's over my head. I don't wanna back.
Ooh. Oh. Oh, that's cool. Bloopity bloops over here. Nice. That was a strong end to that one. I really like that last bit. I think that last bit might have been my favorite part of the song. Okay, we got a lot. There was a lot to unpack there lyrically. So main chorus, is don't want to backslide to where I've started from. There's no chance I will shake this again, because I feel the pull waters over my head strength enough for one more time. Reach my hand above the tide, I'll take anything you have. If you could throw me a line, I should have loved you better. Do you think that now's the time you should let go? It's over my head. So, oh boy, we're not, like, we're doing okay, but we're maybe, spending a lot of time dwelling on the idea of backsliding, which is kind of that was kind of what I suggested might be the possible focus here, is just not necessarily actually backsliding, but talking about the idea of backsliding. Don't want to backslide to where I've started from. There's no chance I will shake this again. That line sticks out because I think there's the line, there's no chance I will shake this again, is an indication of like more work to be done. It's hard to know that, because I feel like, you know, even where you were before, it might have been hard to think that you could get out of it. And so to think now that you're better and not where you were, to say that you couldn't make it back if you backslid again, there's just as much of a chance for you to make it back this time as you did the first time around, if that makes sense. The other thing I wanted to look at was Bad Place on $100 base. Kind of wishing that I never did Saturday. Saturday, obviously, being one of the songs on Scaled Nicey, which was a very, very feel-good pop track. I didn't mind that one. That one was actually one of the fun songs on it. So he was asked about the change of sound, and Tyler said that the song was intended to be an escape from everything that was happening, including but not limited to COVID-19. He said, I didn't think that a dismal record was appropriate. The idea of escaping that was more appealing to me. The reason why it feels almost disconnected from the reality in which the record was created is intentional. It's gonna feel a little lighter because of that, and I do respect that. I don't hate Scaled Nicey. It's not my favorite album sound-wise because I like the darker stuff. Like, I think that sonically the darker stuff is more my speed. Like, I would never say that an artist should not make a brighter, more upbeat album. I would never say that, even if I had the right to tell an artist or band what to do. I would never say don't, lighten things up, because I think sometimes there is a place for that, and obviously they had good intentions to make a bright album in what was a very, very dark time. And I honestly, Saturday, one of my favorite albums, or favorite songs from that album. I enjoyed it. It kind of goes. And so the idea of kind of wishing that you never did it, that like second guessing of like, was that positivity like disingenuous or like misplaced? I don't know if it's necessary to ask those questions. I think it can be dangerous to question why you would do something out of positivity and optimism. There's a difference between there's dismissive optimism and there's counteractive optimism. And I think it's hard to tell the difference between the two. If he's feeling like Saturday was dismissive optimism, then, that's a conversation to be had. But I never really got the sense of that. The rest of verse 2 after that is that a stain you should change? Are you doing good? Did you solve all your problems? Thanks for asking, in a way, but accidentally uncovered a new one yesterday. What happened to what I brushed under the rug? I used to be the champion of a world you can't see. Now I'm drowning in logistics. What is that last line about? Drowning in logistics could just mean, he's a busy man. Some of the downsides of being a very, very busy and and well-to-do musician are rearing their ugly head. And now he's like, I don't actually feel like I'm enjoying my music career. I feel like I'm just drowning in all the like boring logistical, like technical aspects of it. And that can be kind of soul-sucking. I get it. It's largely just about like, you know, dwelling on regrets and being worried that you're kind of sinking back into the bad mental state that you were in, that you remember being in, and not being sure if you'd be able to get back out of it, which I think he can. I think he can. And if that means anything, then great. Let's keep going. To track number 4, Midwest Indigo. Does Indigo look any different in Midwest than it does in any other part of North America? I don't know. I haven't been to the Midwest much. So let's find out. Okay, starting out a little weird. Starting out a little trippy. Oh, synths. Hello, synths. Oh, those are some weird notes. Okay. Okay. All right. Where are we going from here? Oh, nice. Back into a punk rhythm. Cool. Oh, I like it. It's bouncy. Nice.
Did you pull up yet? Not yet.
Nice.
Did you forget we're tight on time?
Oh, that's so punchy. And then we got that piano coming in.
What's your ETA? 2 minutes. Chill out, man.
That's
We're
cool.
right on time. Reaching out on my way home. Could be so cold. I'll try again. You make me sad and second guess myself. Could be so cold. Midwest Indigo.
How are we pulling this one out? How are we ending this? There's a whole minute left, and there's only an outro left in the lyrics. Ooh.
I want love in sunny days.
Sure.
I'm a bit too old to run away.
Mm-hmm.
You make me sad and second guess myself. You can be so cold.
Okay. All right. Jamming out with this.
So cold. Midwest Indigo.
Nice, and we're riding this out. A little bit of oh-oh-ohs. All right, fair enough. Oh, that was fun. It's cool to hear all of these like sort of more like sort of indie punk pop rhythms in this. I haven't really heard a lot of this kind of music from 21 Pilots before, but it's fun. I enjoy it. Very nice. Okay, Midwest Indigo. The phrase Midwest Indigo suggests a deep melancholic feeling associated with the Midwest, known for its harsh winters and sometimes bleak landscapes. The protagonist of the album, Clancy, seems to be navigating through both literal and metaphorical cold, seeking warmth and understanding but facing repeated setbacks. But also, Tyler Joseph said it was a song to Ohio, and where we grew up in the Midwest, specifically that feeling of driving to school and barely being able to see out the window. I feel that. as someone that lived in sort of Midwestern, the Canadian Midwest, you might say. Not quite the most west, because I'm in the most west now. Slightly less west than where I am now. So more Midwest, one might say. Where I've also had some pretty harsh winters to deal with. And yeah, that feeling of driving to school and barely being able to see out the window. I very much get that. That's such a specific sensory experience. Main chorus is reaching out on my way home. You can be so cold, I'll try again. You make me sad and second guess myself. You can be so cold, Midwest Indigo. So yeah, just that state of like making your way home in the cold has such a specific effect on your like mental state. You make me sad and second guess myself. Like are people really supposed to be outside in this cold? Like, am I making a mistake? Should I have done something else to get where I need to go? Should I really be going where I need to go? I don't know where Clancy is supposed to be getting to. Maybe he's making his way back to the Resistance or what? I don't know. Also, verse 1, running late, so I didn't have the time to scrape the frosted windshield. Like, we're barely scraping by. Concentrate on the little gap in the ice. That seems to be about as wide as our chances. Nice. Yes. The scraping the frosted windshield, where like you forgot to turn on the car before you left, so that hasn't warmed up yet, and it takes an extra like 5 minutes to scrape off the ice on the windshield. Road is covered in ice, so you're trying to like focus and find the medians in the middle of the road, but the line is about as thin as it can be, and then you're saying it's about as wide as our chances of making it. Really nicely kind of painting this picture of just dire circumstances and really kind of flying by the seat of your pants, if you will. Verse 2, cloud coverage matched my outfit to a knife. I requested counsel with the counselor and he canceled twice. It's a different blue. It's deeper than it's been. I'll be pulling into the parking lot before the heat kicks in. Interesting. That's a cool last line. I'll be pulling into the parking lot before the heat kicks in. So you don't have enough time to feel better. You don't have enough time to like settle in and get more comfortable or even acclimate. You're cold and miserable, and then you get there. And yeah, sometimes a song can just be that, just a description of that like sensation, of that description of a mood, is really all you need. Let's keep moving to routines in the night. I have routines in my night. Usually involves sitting and playing a game while watching YouTube and drinking some sort of cold beverage. Those are my night routines, or routines in the night. Let's find out what Tyler's and or Clancy's are. Oh. Okay. Okay. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Right. Okay. All right. Okay.
Here comes a new night, but I'll send it through. I'll probably jump.
We're vibing.
The next one. I'm testing the limits of what a mind can do. I'm keeping my eyelids up no matter what. So beautiful, the space between a painful reminder and a terrible dream. I've been here before.
I like that like bendy guitar going off every now and then in the background. It's like just noticeable enough to appreciate it, but it's just like a little bit more in the background. It's really nice.
Reoccurring, keeps coming around. REM cycle, skip night
Here we
cycle,
go.
trip. It's reassuring, you keep coming around. It's tough to find good company. Reoccurring,
Alright.
days blurring. I'm still learning what this is, what this is, what this is. Just keep me company.
Alright.
So beautiful, the space between, down the halls of my head.
Oh. Piano. Turned it off. Okay. Ooh, that's pretty. All right. Okay. I don't know if I was crazy about that one. It was pretty straightforward. Don't know if it landed with me as well as the other ones have, but looking at the lyrics, I like what it's about, or what it seems to be about. Like night routine. The night routine seems to be laying in bed and thinking about all of the things that you're thinking about, which is pretty standard for a lot of us. I think is just right as you're going to bed, your brain is like, hey, why don't we just like take stock of everything? How about that? While we've got the time, you know, while I have you on the phone. Why don't we just take inventory of literally everything in our psyche? How about that? Which is cool. And it's very relatable. But I think musically, I kind of started to doze off there a bit. Not my favorite musically, but lyrically, it was neat. Chorus, we've got walk the layout, routines in the night. Some doors have stay out, spray painted in white. All the world's asleep. I walk around instead through the memories down the halls of my head. So yeah, walking the layout, just checking out the space of your mind. Some doors have stay out, spray painted in white. So there are some things that you like sort of briefly think about, and then you're like, that's a whole can of worms that I am in bed. I don't want to open that can of worms right now. We're just gonna keep walking. While all the world's asleep, I walk around instead. Instead of sleeping, I just think about everything. Verse 2, reoccurring, keeps coming around, REM cycle, skip, night, psycho trip. It's reassuring, you keep coming around. It's tough to find good company. Reoccurring, days blurring. I'm still learning what this is. Just keep me company. And so I think the like you that we're referring to is these just moments of like the voice in your head that's just like, let's just think about everything. It's like that voice in the head is the company that is keeping Tyler up at night. So it's this kind of like comforting but still dark description of this, you know, sort of sleepless night that he's been going through on loop, it would seem. That's pretty much it. Again, not this one I probably could have done without, if I'm being honest. This would be a skip. Up until this point, I've been having a good time. That one was just kind of meh. So let's keep moving to Vignette. Track number 6. What's the vignette? What's a vignette of? I know what a vignette is. It's like a sort of, you know, a display of a certain situation. You can either have like actors frozen in place or just a painting describing a scene. That's what a vignette is. But what is this vignette? All right, coming in with the synthy strings. Unless they're real strings, I don't know. Okay. You got something pulsing in. Oh. Okay. Oh. Oh, you've got my attention. Okay. All right. I am officially engaged. What was that bird? Why with the bird?
Not sure when it started. Peeling from his bones, piece it back together all alone. Hope it held together long enough for he to pitch the greener grasses and hope that she would agree.
Okay.
Fresh off a binger in the woods, flesh covered in bites.
Okay.
Testing what is real, what is good. Man, it's been a long night. It's a tribute to zombies of which I've become.
Okay.
Where do I go from here? Where do I go from here?
Ooh.
Clinging to promises.
Ooh.
Fighting off the vignette.
That's good. I love that.
Swallowed by the vignette.
That like falsetto sound that he has is such a distinctive sound. Maybe any other like 21 Pilots fans can resonate with me on this. But like when he hits those particularly high notes, it's just such a specific thing that you can really only get from his voice. If there are any other singers that like sound like that, other than like Half Alive kind of sounds similar, but it's just such a specific vibe that I can't really find anywhere else. I really enjoy it. Also, the fact that he's got the like grit and where do I go from here straight into the falsetto of the chorus. Lovely, lovely switch. Big fan of this song. We're so back, baby.
No, not me, it's for a friend. No, not me,
All
it's
right,
for a
halftime
friend.
for the.
No, not me, it's for a friend. No, not me, it's for a friend. Denial.
Ooh. A synth solo. Hello. Ooh, that was lovely. Ooh. Cool. Oh my gosh, that might be one of the favorites on the album so far. That went so hard. I really, really enjoyed that. The hits with the strings and then the drums kind of like at a certain point if you're doing those shots, it becomes really, really fun as a drummer to like kind of keep the shots in mind but keep a more steady beat going, so you can like pay attention to the hits and like hit them at certain points, but if you're also able to keep a beat going within that, it becomes very, very satisfying. Big fan. What the frick is this song? Tyler spoke during a live stream. There's a few interpretations of it. I think for me it makes the most sense when I look at it from the perspective of addiction and what that can feel like at times, a certain type of season of that, and that's why this song is very special to me. Okay, so just the vague concept of addiction. Starting off, verse 1, not sure when it started, peeling from his bones, piece it back together all alone, hope it held together long enough for he to pitch the greener grasses and hope that she would agree. Fresh off a binger in the woods, flesh covered in bites, testing what is real, what is good. Man, it's been a long night. Then into the pre-chorus of it's a tribute to zombies of which I've become. Where do I go from here? Into the chorus, clinging to provinces, fighting off the vignette. Tunnels cave, visions fade, swallowed by the vignette. So yeah, I guess just like the experience of being in the midst or in the heat of an addiction and like what that looks like in your life, including the post-chorus, which is literally just no, not me, it's for a friend, which is a very, very common lie told in order to get another fix. clinging to... I wonder what this vignette is in the chorus. The chorus focuses on how people can become isolated from the rest of the world when taking substances, despite fighting to remain fully conscious as lucidity, clarity, and purpose are gradually obscured like a vignette. So vignettes are usually like sort of silhouettes. You can't necessarily see like a detailed picture of what's happening. You can see the basic shapes of things. So in the chorus, it's sort of like clinging to promises, clinging to these things that I have been trying to hold myself to, fighting off the vignette. So trying to maintain clarity of things. But then, you know, tunnels cave and visions fade. So you're not only is you get a bit of tunnel vision, but also your clarity fades out and you get swallowed by the vignette in the weaker moments. I like it. I loved that one musically. Those shots really, really brought me back around. That was great. Let's keep moving. Track number 7, we are in the midpoint of the album with The Craving, in brackets, Jenna's version. Jenna being Tyler Joseph's wife. Every album has a Jenna song. We know this. And I guess this was the, like, maybe the mix or the master that Jenna liked of this song, or maybe just the version of it that she liked the most, and that was the one that they put on the album. Let's see what Jenna wanted. Oh. Oh.
Seems I get in my own way. The more I think, the less I say. I hope I communicate the craving. Now I see intentions don't mean much. Say enough, did I let her know if I found my body in chains, I'd lay down and wait and hope she looks for me.
So I'm getting a sense that this is the version of this song that ended up on the album. Jenna's version is probably not the, like, they may have had a more produced or more heavily produced version of this song. This feels like an acoustic take, like an acoustic version. And so the fact that this was what Jenna wanted on the album makes a lot of sense, because we're an intro, a verse, and a chorus in. We're less than a minute into the song, and this is a very vulnerable song. And so I like that she was just like, let's just let the words and the song speak for themselves, not worry about going too big with it. Unless we end up going big, maybe we switch out of the acoustic, but I kind of doubt it. And I like that. I appreciate that. Okay, a little bit of fading out there. Cool. Oh, we're whistling. That's cute. Okay.
'Cause it's the fear of the unknown that cripples every step we take. And I just hate to put this on her, but I swear that I will give more than I take away. The craving. Now I see intentions don't mean much.
Aw, that was really sweet. I very much feel the meaning of this one. I haven't actually heard the regular Craving. I don't know. Maybe I'll do a reaction of that at another time if you want me to. But I like that. I like that version. I like that this is the version that made it onto the album. I like that it was just ukulele and maybe some piano, sounded like. But yeah, it was very clearly just like Tyler asking himself if he's communicated how much he loves his wife, and if it's gotten across well enough to her. As someone that is not always the clearest communicator in my day-to-day, when I'm doing things that involve a lot of talking, like this kind of thing, I put a lot of effort into choosing the right words, which is often why I pause things and say and ah, which a lot of the time I'll just edit out of the video, and you'll see a lot of like little jump cuts halfway through sentences. In normal life, you can't do that. And so, I'll just kind of sit there and be in my own head. And in the past, that's kind of been all I do, and I do end up communicating less of my feelings than I probably should, and it has kind of kicked me in the ass before, to the point where now I am trying to make a conscious pattern, especially in relationships, of like when the thought occurs to me of how much I appreciate someone, I use that moment to express it, whether it makes sense in the moment or not. If I have the thought occur to me of how much I love my partner, I'm gonna tell them, because it's either that or you wait till the right moment, and that's just not going to be enough. Intentions are not enough, right? You can't just say, oh, they probably know. They might not. They just might not. It is another thing of like, you can start communicating it sooner than later. You can just start doing it more often. And if they ask why you're suddenly being so affectionate all the time, just say, you gotta do it more often. You gotta make sure that you're communicating it, which is very much what they're kind of doing here. Particularly the chorus and verse 1 kind of hit pretty hard. Also the intro, like, ballsy move to start this song with just this, like, I don't know, phone message of Jenna Joseph in tears saying, I don't know why I can't stop crying. I'm getting old and I don't know a lot about you still. And that leads us into the song. Like, geez, Tyler. Just make me cry, why don't you? So, verse 1. Sometimes seems I get in my own way. The more I think, the less I say, which I very much relate to that. The more I think, the more I try to work things out, the deeper I get into just sort of not saying anything at all. I hope I communicate the craving. Now I see intentions don't mean much. And that last line refers to, like, I meant to tell you, I was planning on telling you at a certain point, but it just didn't happen, right? Intentions don't mean much when it comes to communicating your feelings about someone. I hope I communicate the craving, and I'm assuming the craving is just like how much Jenna means to him, like just how much he values her in his life and how much he wants her around. You can say I hope I communicate it, but that only goes so far. You gotta follow through on that. You gotta actually make a conscious effort to communicate that craving, whether it comes off sappy or not. You just gotta let yourself be sappy sometimes. You just gotta let yourself be a little corny sometimes. It'll work. It'll be worth it. And that's all I've got to say about that. That was really neat. I'll also read the chorus here. Say enough. Did I let her know? Let her know. If I found my body in chains, I'd lay down and wait and hope she looks for me. just this trust, you know? If you found yourself in a situation where you couldn't move, you weren't with the person, you would want to trust that you mean enough to the other person and that you have communicated to them how much they mean to you, that they would come looking for you. It's kind of a dark way of like framing it, but I get it. I get what he's saying. That's all I'll say about that. We'll keep going here. We're now into the back half, with Craving being the middle. Into Lavish. How are we getting lavish? The aesthetic of this album does not necessarily communicate lavish. It communicates we're back at the rebel camp. So curious as to what's gonna be lavish.
Welcome to the new way of living. It's
Okay.
just the beginning of lavish.
Oh. Okay. Alright, the strings are back. Okay.
Welcome to the new way of living. It's
Okay.
just the beginning of lavish. From
Is
the
it?
floor to the ceiling.
Okay.
Welcome to the style you haven't seen in a while. It's lavish.
I don't think I've ever heard this sound from 21 Pilots before. This is very new. This is a very different sound and style than I think anything they've made before, which is very impressive. I think I get what they're kind of going with here with Lavish. And the fact that they managed to pull this whole sound and tone together for this particular song. Ooh, this is interesting. I like it. Okay. Ooh. Hello, strings. That's nice. Okay. All right.
Got that penny loafer squeak, cross linoleum, big flex, complex, Napoleon. I say whatever and whatever that I want. Sip a Capri Sun like it's Don Perignon. I'm talking tough happily with someone in front of me. Room on the payroll, everyone can live comfortably. I'm coming in hot, hot shot hypocrisy. NDAs for the folks that talk to me.
Ooh,
So tell your friends
wow.
to follow bots anonymous. Keep it cool, keep the mood androgynous. I see your problem is your proctologist got both hands on your shoulder while you're bottomless.
Damn. Okay. Jeez.
Welcome to the style you haven't seen in a while. It's lavish.
It sure is. Damn.
It's lavish.
Okay. Holy cow. That was just that was so new. I felt like something I'd expect something like that more from Tame Impala than 21 Pilots, but geez, that was cool. Great. I got a pretty good sense of what they're getting at here. They're not trying to be lavish. They're making fun of lavishness. The song criticizes the lavish nature of luxury life, the unnecessary ostentatious award ceremonies and shows, and the need for a false toughness in order to survive in the music industry. We get examples of overcompensating laced throughout the first and second verses, trying your best to look like you're aware/familiar and aren't new to the scene, dressing well, smelling pleasantly, and showing up like you deserve to be where you are, all to cover up the nerves that are discussed in the first verse. The premise of the song either speaks to fans and newcomers about the 21 Pilots concert culture, or speaks to aspiring artists about the type of attitude and demeanor needed to carry yourself in order to put on a show. So it's this sort of like lacquer and like facade that that I guess they've learned to put on in order to kind of like not fit in, But in order to sort of socialize in that world and be noticed and like be legitimized, I guess. Not necessarily like in the way that they're supporting it, but that there are certain like, you know, neutral things that you can do in order to not stick out like a sore thumb unless you're trying to. So like in verse 1, it's you try your best to look like this is not your first time. You're fighting for the front row. That's a nice try. You're looking real nice, smelling like worth, walk in like you deserve it. And if your feet are hurting, then that's when you know you brought the right equipment to put on a show. Let it flow, let it show, shine. Interesting. So walk in like you deserve it. Very much same energy as like fake it till you make it. And then you keep faking it because that's how you know how to make it, right? The energy of fake it till you make it goes a pretty long way. As a lot of artists and actors will tell you, is if you're able to like fake confidence, that'll be convincing enough for a good number of people. If your feet are hurting, then that's when you know you brought the right equipment. That's pretty good. Like if you're uncomfortable, that's how you know that you've picked the right fashion choices. It's bullshit and it's silly, but it's just like what you gotta go through during these occasions. Verse 2 is where they get they come on real strong. Got that penny loafer squeak across linoleum. Big flex complex Napoleon. I say whatever and whatever that I want. Sip a Capri Sun like it's Dom Perignon. I'm talking tough happily with someone in front of me. Room on the payroll. Everyone can live comfortably. I'm coming in hot shot hypocrisy. NDAs for the folks that talk to me. So tell your friends at FollowBots Anonymous. Keep it cool. Keep the mood androgynous. I see your problem is that your proctologist got both hands on your shoulder while you're bottomless. That last line, I feel like I know what they're talking about. The annotation literally just says, I cannot for the life of me fathom what he could possibly mean by this. How is this a real lyric that made it onto the album? The fact that you went and made a whole annotation just to be like, how the frick did this line make it? What the hell does this mean? I think the proctologist line has like something to do with like having something like you gotta hand up your ass. Like you're just so up your own ass in this culture and like celebrity culture. I feel like that might be what we're looking at. But I see the keep it cool, keep the mood androgynous, I guess is referring to the like, you know, keep it straight faced, gotta look cool, you can't look too genuine, can't look too excited. NDAs for the folks that talk to me is a great line as well, of just expressing this like exclusivity at such a great cost. Like exclusivity at the cost of at the cost of coming across like a human being, you know? Like if you want to have a conversation with me, great, but here's a bunch of paperwork for you to sign before we can have a normal human talk, right? It's kind of what they're coming across is like that second verse is very much like getting into just how backwards and alien that whole world can be, and I quite enjoy it. This was another favorite on this album. I was a big fan of this. Let's keep going to track number 9, Navigating. We've been navigating a lot of stuff. We've been navigating we just finished navigating celebrity culture. Where are we navigating now? Ooh, we're navigating a bass guitar. Ooh, and some more synths. Okay, we got some AOs. Oh! Oh, this is fun. Alright. We got the pop punk sound back again. Ooh. Alright. I love what Josh is doing. Okay. Keeping that going. That's very light and fast. That's cool. When our fingers touch, I feel my way back home. Ooh. They didn't need to put in that extra fill, but I liked it. Okay. Ooh. Halftime for the second half of the chorus. Love that. Alright. I love those hits. What are we doing for the bridge? We're dropping out. If you really want to know what I'm thinking, kind of feels like everybody leaves. Feeling the reality that everybody leaves. My dad just lost his mom, I think that everybody leaves. Now I'm trying to hold on to you cause everybody leaves. Pardon my delay. I'm navigating my head. Disassociate. I'm navigating my head. Give me some advice. Okay. I am wasting all this time. Ooh, going big. Alright, and then coming back in for one last one, alright. Ooh, going big. Going out with a bang here. Oh. Man. This is averaging out to a very good album. Like they missed me a little bit with Routines in the Night. Other than that, this has been bangers all the way down, including the Craving. I'd call the Craving, Jenna's version, straight banger, slaps, goes so hard. But yeah, this one was a lot of fun too. Big fan of what Josh was doing on the drums there. Throughout the song, Tyler is navigating through his head, a phrase he repeats to illustrate the spiral he goes down when confronted with difficult thoughts and fears, such as his family leaving him one day. So we're dealing with some dark thoughts. We're maybe doing a little bit of a spiral here. The navigating is just like you keep trying to find your way around, but you're just kind of going deeper and deeper into a crisis. Dealing with, people dying, family members that either have or will die, and just kind of coming to terms with that. The chorus, which is pardon my delay, I'm navigating my head. Disassociate, I'm navigating my head. Give me some advice, I am wasting all this time. My oh my, don't know how long it's been. My oh my. So yeah, having a hard time reconciling all of this. Like we're putting in the effort to work some stuff out, but the more you think about it, the more bothered you become, and it becomes harder to feel okay about it. It's hard to come to a conclusion that you can kind of sit and be okay with. So they're like asking, give me some advice. I'm wasting all this time. My oh my, don't know how long it's been, because you're just sitting there starting to dissociate. And then the bridge is where it really kind of hits the nail on the head. Since I responded to your question, if you really want to know what I'm thinking, kind of feels like everybody leaves. Feeling the reality that everybody leaves. My dad just lost his mom. I think that everybody leaves. and I'm trying to hold on to you because everybody leaves. So yeah, we're kind of learning perhaps what brought on this mental spiral and this train of thought that we've been on in this song is apparently Tyler's grandma died during the making of this album, which is too bad. That sucks. That can be really rough. It is one of those moments where you're like, oh yeah, everyone in my family and all of my friends and everyone that I know about and care about is one day gonna not be there, whether I go before them or not. You know, none of us are around here are around forever. And some of the people in your life are gonna go before you do, which is a scary thought. It's a terrifying thought. And it becomes even scarier if you don't really know what to do with it or where to go from that thought, right? It's easy to say, like, just enjoy the time that you have with them, and that is kind of the advice that I would give, but it doesn't mean it doesn't really make it any less scary, the idea that, like, certain people that you can't really currently imagine your life without, the idea of them going away inevitably, it's kind of hard to dissolve that. Very much get it. Hopefully he's able to find some kind of peace with all that. Let's keep moving. Track number 10, Snapback. Are we talking about hats? Snapback hats? Or are we talking about snapping back? I'm pretty sure Snapback is in fact its own brand, so I feel like it would probably make more sense that we are in fact snapping back to something. Ooh. Alright, those are some interesting keys. Alright.
Got a bad feeling that I'm about to break.
Oh, are you?
Been a good streak, but the pressure's overweight.
Okay.
Is it even good for my head to keep track?
Is it?
If I'm gonna snap next, then I gotta snap back. Got a bad feeling
Okay.
I'm gonna lose the lead. Running from a thing that I kicked in 17.
Okay.
Is it even right for my head to keep track? If I'm gonna snap next, then I gotta snap back. It's a backslide.
Is it? Oh no.
Got a bad feeling that I'm about to break.
Right.
Been a good streak, but the pressure's overweight. All of that progress lost today.
Interesting. Drums there.
I have seemed to run out of excuses.
Oh, have you? Okay.
Got a bad feeling that I'm about to break. Been a good
Alright.
streak, but the
Are we building to something?
Is it even good for my head to keep track? If I'm gonna snap next, then I gotta snap back.
Right.
Got a bad feeling I'm gonna lose the lead. Running
Okay.
from a thing that I kicked in 17.
Ooh, I like that bass part.
For my head to keep track. If I'm
Where are we
gonna
going
snap
here?
next, then I gotta snap back.
Okay.
Then I gotta snap back. I'm gonna snap next, then I gotta snap back. I've been praying for my elasticity to return to the way that it was. If I'm gonna snap next, then I gotta snap back.
Jeez. Okay. Oh boy. Musically, I didn't have a whole lot to feel about that one. I liked what they were doing at the end there. That was a cool little shift in. I'm worried for Mr. Tyler at this time, or at least at this point in the album. It seemed from the lyrics that this is like a post-relapse song, but it's hard to say. Got a bad feeling that I'm about to break. Been a good streak, but the pressure's overweight. Is it even good for my head to keep track? If I'm gonna snap next, then I gotta snap back. Got a bad feeling that I'm gonna lose the lead running from a thing that I kicked in 17. Is it even right for my head to keep track? If I'm gonna snap next, then I gotta snap back. What does that line mean? The snap next. When you snap a neck, you kill something. This is true, generally. This could refer to Tyler wanting to finally defeat / fully kill his demons or whatever it is he is fighting. Might be the addiction thing. Snapping the neck would be overcoming it. Then has to snap back after his relapse. Right, after all of that progress lost today. Snap back into fighting what it is he is overcoming. Snap back into his improvement. He can't let his relapse get him down and discourage him. Right, okay, yeah. So the snapping back is like the longer you let the relapse like bother you and get under your skin, like the shame of that, the longer you let that shame get to you, the harder it is to get back into the mindset of, okay, I need to get back in the game and get back into where I was at when I was able to keep this managed, right? Just because I messed up doesn't mean I need to give up, right? You gotta get back into what you were doing to manage your addiction or sobriety or whatnot as soon as you can, so that you don't get too in your head about you know, the relapse and what that might mean for you, right? The commandeered a hot ride, drove it till the engine died. All of that progress lost today. That feels like a reference to Heavy Dirty Soul, where we've got a car on fire. Tyler uses the imagery of a car to represent mental health. One can be a hot ride, a perfectly sane, healthy human, until depression drives it till the engine dies, rendering the person a broken person with a mental disorder. Sure, that's one way of putting it. But yeah, this like sort of call back to a previous mental state. I'm pretty sure when did Blurryface come out? 2015. Okay, so not quite the same. The timeline doesn't quite line up. And then the outro being, I've been praying for my elasticity to return to the way that it was, which is the snapping back. Like if you're relying on a certain like elasticity, the very nature of it is that it can snap back to what it was before. We've stretched it out, and now we're waiting for the snapback. We'll see how that goes for the rest of this album. We'll see how that elasticity works out. But let's keep going. Track number 11, Oldies Station. We're taking a quick little tribute to the classics. How old are we talking? How old is this whole Oldies Station? Ooh. Okay. Alright.
Only consistency in your periphery is fear in the bridge of your nose.
Okay.
And as you move about, you learn to tune them out, but to say they continue to grow. Fear of the past and relative pain.
Oh,
Future's
hi guys,
coming fast,
everyone.
you've got nothing in the tank.
Cool.
In a
I think I heard
season
Josh
of
in there too.
purging things you used to love.
Okay.
Everything must go.
Oh, must it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Aw.
Make an oath and make mistakes. Start a streak you're bound to break when darkness rolls on you. Push on through.
Aw. Ooh. Ooh. I like the crunchy bass going there.
Then before you know,
All right.
some people close, forcing you to manage your pace.
As much as I have said that I like 21 Pilots is like darker, like crunchier music, I also am a big fan of on the other end of the spectrum when they just get like very sentimental. Tyler's just saying he's got his heart on his sleeve for some of these songs. That's why I liked the Craving, because it's so genuine and like vulnerable, and I really like those songs of theirs as well. And this very much feels like one of those.
Push on through.
Ooh, oh hello. All right. Okay, synths. Interesting. That's a sound.
You don't quite mind. You don't quite mind.
Okay. Oh, nice.
Mind how long red lights are taken. Push on through. Your favorite song was on the Oldies Station. Push on through. Make it oath and make mistakes. Start a streak you're bound to break. Darkness falls on you. Push on
Ooh. Ended with the, I think, what was a ukulele chord there. That's cute. Well, that was lovely. That was such a nice little thing. That was so nice. There's a lot of points in that I kind of want to look at. But it sounds like Tyler has said something about this song. Tyler has said several times that this song was for the fans. In the Clancy premiere live stream, he said, "I felt like you guys deserved to know how I'm doing and maybe how I got here through my journey. And I just want to say thank you guys, and I was thinking of you when I wrote this." Aw, that's so cute. He also said, "Midwest Indigo I wrote about Ohio, The Craving I wrote about my wife, and Oldies Station I wrote about you," pointing to the crowd. That's great. Big fan of that. Aw. Okay, so this is for us. Let's see what Tyler's got to say specifically to the fans. First one, only consistency in your periphery is fear and the bridge of your nose. And as you move about, you learn to tune them out, but they say they continue to grow. True, both in the case of fear and also your nose. Like, literally, if you are looking for it, you can always see the bridge of your nose. It's just in your field of view the whole time. The whole time, if you have eyes, which not everyone does. If you are a person with working eyes, you can always see the bridge of your nose. And in the same way, the fear, the dread is always there. And the trick is, you do, for the most part, just kind of learn to tune them out. Your brain knows that your nose is always there, so it doesn't need to keep accounting for the fact that your nose is there. You just kind of mentally tune it out of your vision. And in the same way, you just kind of gotta learn to like acknowledge that know that the fear is gonna be there, but it doesn't have to be relevant to how you live your life, right? It's gonna be there. That's fine. Don't worry too much about it. Sometimes it'll be more obvious than other times, and it will continue to grow. And much of life is just learning how to deal with that growth. Chorus, make an oath, then make mistakes. Start a streak, you're bound to break. When darkness rolls on you, push on through. Commit to things. Know that you're gonna mess up every now and then. And when the dark times come, and just keep moving. Just keep going. Things will probably get easier at a certain point. Just keep trying to be human, right? I like the chorus of you've had your turns with relative pain being yelled out by a crowd, and little less concern when there's nothing in the tank, also yelled out. In a season of lessons learned in giving up, you learn what you can and can't take, right? So maybe you've got your experience with like varying degrees of pain, and you know that you don't really worry too much about how much pain you are when you're in, when you don't really have much energy in you, right? When you're running on empty, generally, you're gonna just sort of take the pain as it comes. But in the season of lessons learned in giving up, you learn what you can and can't take. You learn what you deserve to handle and what you don't deserve to handle or deal with. And I feel like the bridge is a little bit both for Tyler and for the fans, where he's like, you don't quite mind how long red lights are taken. Push on through. Your favorite song was on the Oldies Station. Push on through. You have it down, that old fight for survival. Push on through. You're in the crowd at her first dance recital. Push on through. So he's using his own personal experiences and knowing that other people are going to have similar moments. He kind of passes this on of like, you're going to have experiences like seeing your own daughter at her first dance recital. Those are the things that you use to push through. The fight for survival, the loving your favorite song on the Oldies Station. Use all those things. Okay, I am going to stop here so I can eat food, but you're not going to notice any time pass because I'm going to edit out, or yeah, I'm just going to start a separate recording, and then none of this means anything because I'll be here in like literally 3 seconds and it'll just be dark outside. So, be right back. Whoopsies, it's the next day. Yeah, sometimes that happens. That's showbiz, baby, I guess. I feel like I remember the vibe that we were in the midst of. But just to get right back into the groove of where we've been at, I'm gonna listen to the whole thing again, and then we'll keep moving to the next song. I'm gonna listen to Oldies Station one more time, and then we'll keep moving. Alright, good to go. We're gonna keep moving on. I've said what I said about the song. Big fan, very touching. It's a good one for the people. Let's keep going to track number 12, At the Risk of Feeling Dumb. I'm very curious to find out what Tyler is wanting to say at the risk of feeling dumb. Sometimes you want to say things that may be quite obvious. You don't want to say them at the risk of feeling dumb. But sometimes those are the things that you most need to say, as we've covered in the Craving. Well, let's see what else he's got to say at the risk of feeling dumb. Aw. Oh. Boodaloo. Okay. 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 All right. All right. Okay. Oh, we're coming in hard. Nice. this is something that, like, I feel like Tyler and Josh have, like, learned how to do at, like, at this point in their time making music, is they kind of know when to switch things up now. They've been learning how to flick the switch at the right time to come in hard or like drop out to kind of keep us engaged. Because I'll be honest, I was like trying to figure out what to say about that, what they were doing. Not that I wasn't enjoying it. It was a nice it was a nice groove they had going there, but you know, it wasn't necessarily anything like super notable musically. And then they just come crashing in with this like big rock breakdown. That was lovely and a very strong choice for where it was. Sometimes you gotta hold back for a little bit until halfway through the song, and then let them know what you got in store for them. And this being what was in store for us, glad that it's arrived.
If I'm being real, man, don't know how I feel, man. About you sleeping so close to a weapon you conceal, man. Those nightmares are not something to take lightly. I know that it's a risk saying this, don't fight me.
That the organ chords that they've got, the shots that they're doing, the like bum bum bum, it's pretty much exactly what they do in Stressed Out. I don't know if that's on purpose, if that's like a little lyrical nod to Stressed Out. Maybe it's about like, because I know a large part of Stressed Out was like wanting to go back to when it was like just him and his brother hanging out on the street, and maybe there's a little bit of that going on. Maybe a little bit of this is about his relationship with his brother. We'll figure it out. Maybe he's got something to say about it, maybe not. I just noticed that little like sort of musical choice there is one that they've made before. Nice. Oh, and we go hard for the chorus now. Ah. Nice. Very cool. I liked that a lot. Both lyrically and musically, that was a lot of fun. Also, not just the key is sounding like something out of Stressed Out and just Blurryface in general, but that drum rhythm that Josh was doing at the end there, the like sort of is probably one of like, if one were to ask an AI to generate a 21 Pilots song, not saying that anyone should do that, but if one were to do that, it would probably have a drum track that sounded like that. That's one of the most 21 Pilots-esque drum beats that I can think of. Nothing against it. It's just it's very in line with what Josh Dunn tends to play. We're hitting some familiar beats, but also we've learned how to come in a little harder than we may have in the past. That was great. And I do get a idea of what the song was about reading the lyrics, but in the about section puts it nicely. At the risk of feeling dumb, lead singer Tyler Joseph urges the listener to check in on their friends as they struggle with negative mental health, even if they insist that they are fine, as they may want you to just keep your plans rather than support them. After all, the worst case scenario for checking in is that you feel dumb, which is ultimately better than losing a friend. Absolutely true. So very, very true. And yeah, it is literally just a thing of like, I don't know why it's weird to just check in. I think this is another piece of the importance of checking in on your friends, is just making it like setting a precedent for it. You know, make it a normal thing so you don't have to feel dumb about it. You can like make a habit and make it clear to your friends and that this is something that you will do and maybe you want them to do for you. You can establish that in those friendships and in those relationships. The pre-chorus is really the main kind of deal here, which is please keep it in mind. Check on your friends every once in a while, even if they say, and then the chorus is, I don't want anyone, know me or not. See me at my lowest. You don't have to drop by. Nothing you can do this time. And then they do that again, and then just keep your plans. I hope that you never have to drop. And then the post-chorus of, at the risk of feeling dumb, check in. It's not worth the risk of losing a friend. Even if they say, just keep your plans. I hope that you never have to drop. Sometimes people that are going through a hard time mentally, a part of that can involve them wanting to avoid being a burden to the people around you. They don't want to have to feel like their bad times are being spread to their friends. On one hand, it is sort of at its core a selfless thing, but it is a thing of like, maybe don't underestimate your friends. If they're reaching out to help, you can probably assume that they can handle it, whatever you're going through. And even if they can't, that's on them to take care of themselves. It's not your fault if they come over to help you and it ends up being too much for them. That's not your fault, right? It is not up to you to like monitor and safeguard the way other people take care of themselves. You want to take care of your friends, which is why you drop in and check how they're doing, but it only goes so far, I guess. It's hard to really pin down what I'm meaning here. Verse 2 actually puts it nicely, which is, if I'm being real, man, don't know how I feel, man, about you sleeping so close to a weapon you conceal, man. Those night terrors are not something to take lightly. I know that it's a risk saying this. Don't fight me. Literally just like concern for a friend. Like, take it personally that they care about you as a person and they care about your well-being, and accept that help. Freaking accept the gosh dang help, please. From one person that cares about my friends to the friend that maybe needs to be cared for, take our help. It makes us feel better. If you want us, your friends, to feel better and to not be brought down by however badly you're doing, let us help you, please. It's a nice thing. We can hopefully it helps you, but it also gives us a sense of security that like someone is helping you, right? If it's us, someone else, it helps us to know that you are cared for if you need to be. Don't let your freaking pride and ego get in the way of being in community with people. It's just not worth the isolation to save face that way. It's just not worth it. And on the other end of yes, please reach out to your friends to check in on them. If it's weird, do it more often to the point where it becomes not weird. Just get through the maybe one or two awkward times where you're I know I don't usually do this, but just wanted to check in and make sure you're okay. First time might be weird. Second time, maybe it's still weird, but it's happened before. By the third time, it's a pattern. And patterns can get comfortable. Patterns are nice. Patterns become a theme and a motif of that relationship that you can lean on and rely on. And that can become a really, really valuable thing. That's a good sign of a healthy relationship, is that you know that you would check on the other person and you know that they would check on you. It's invaluable to have that. So that's all I'm going to say about it. Let's keep going. One last song. It's the longest one on the album at 6.5 minutes. I don't know if there's a 21 Pilots song that's longer than that, or even near that length. I don't know. I would be hard pressed to find another 21 Pilots song that breaks 6 minutes. Maybe there is one, but I'm not sure. Let's listen to Paladin Strait. Okay. Coming in with the weird bendy synths. And some uke. Alright. At least I think that's a uke. Okay.
I can't be alone.
Okay.
Guess I never told you so. Making my way towards you.
Okay.
Tracing out a line, a route I've mapped 1,000 times. Making my way towards you.
I like that little melody at the end there. Ooh. Alright. Alright, we're bopping.
Staring down a hurtling storm, making its way toward me.
I will mention a lot of 21 Pilots albums. There's been this pattern. I don't remember if this was necessarily the case in Scaled and Icy, where the last song ends up a little like heavy, like particularly heavy and depressing. I'm not certain that this so far this doesn't seem to be going that way, because we've got some like determination going on here. There's a hopeful future. We're making our way to something or someone. I'm just curious as to whether we're holding up to that, or if that's a tradition that Tyler and Josh may have scrapped for the sake of a different narrative choice. Okay. We're getting to the halfway point here. Let's see where we're going from here. We got some synths. This definitely feels like a shift.
Here's my chance, time to take it.
Right.
Can't be sure that I'll make it.
Maybe not.
Even though I'm past the point of no return.
Okay.
I'm all
Alright.
in, I'm surrounded.
Josh is coming in on that ride.
Put my money where my mouth is, even though I'm past the point of no return.
Alright, we're
Here's my chance,
coming in on the halftime. Great.
can't be sure that I'll make it, even though I'm past the point of no return.
Nice.
I'm all in, I'm surrounded.
Are you gonna make it? Ooh. Did we make it? Did we make it? Is there gonna be like a secret ending track? It's not really a secret because they're keeping it going with the birds. What kind of birds are we working with in here? sparrows, swallows, perhaps a robin, a magpie, perhaps. Maybe just a big ass crow. I don't hear any conning. It's probably not a big ass. Oh, hi. It's a ukulele, is what it is. Ukuleles are my favorite kind of bird. Alright.
On the ground are banditos.
On the ground?
Fighting while I find Nico.
Okay.
Even though I'm past the point of no return. Climb the top of the tower.
Okay.
Show yourself, I yell louder.
Okay.
Even though I'm past the point of no return.
Whoop. A door?
So few. So proud.
Is that Blurryface?
So emotional.
Oh, I know that line. I know
Hello,
that.
Clancy.
Hello? What the hell? What the hell was that supposed to mean? Why are you... Huh? What the hell was that supposed to mean? What the freaking frick was that business? What? Okay, oh, no. Oh, of course they would pull some bullshit like this in the final song. Great. Okay, well, I guess that's just what we're dealing with here. Let's see if this about section can help me literally at all. Alright, so Paladin Strait. A location called Paladin Strait was revealed in their latest map of Trench, shown to be the stretch of water between Trench and Voldsoy, also known as the Violent Island. Didn't know it was such a violent island. Great. Okay, that's all you're gonna tell me here. Good. Okay. So we crossed, and that's all within... Dima is the city. I don't know, man. I don't remember much from the lore. Nico, also known as Blurryface. Wait, I thought Nico... I thought Blurryface was one of the evil guys that kidnapped him, and then I thought Nico was the mathematician that he was trying to get back. I don't know. He was fighting while I find Nico. Okay, so he's trying to like confront Nico. Nico and the Niners, are they the like monks? I'm sure someone in the comments, please, will probably just give me a full lowdown of the lore going on here and how that all develops in this song. But okay, so according to this annotation, after the sound of a door opening, Nico, aka Blurryface, reveals himself to Clancy, repeating the iconic lines from the album Blurryface in Fairly Local, where he says, "The world around us is burning, but we're so cold, it's the few, the proud, and the emotional." I remember that. I recognized those words. Yes. Those three words also form the acronym FPE, which appears many times throughout years via the band's promotional materials and lore, having several different meanings. What? In the lore, FPE has been seen to stand for Failed Perimeter Escape, and has also meant find pool equipment, featured performance equipment, and food, petrol, etc. Gotcha. Okay, so that's just been a silly little acronym that they've been throwing in for the fans to eat up. Great. Well, the band had stated that this album was the final chapter in the Clancy storyline. Tyler stated in the music video's premiere live stream that Paladin Strait would have a music video but would not release till later, but then insinuated this song may not be the conclusion. What am I supposed to take from that? What am I supposed to garner from that? Is this the end of the narrative or not? Are we ending on are we getting an open-ended like cliffhanger ending on purpose, and then we're just moving on from this whole narrative without knowing really how that ends? I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. I just want to know. I just want to know. This is why sometimes I don't like or don't need lore in my music, because I enjoy music as a more abstract thing. That's not to say that I don't like it when people build a world with their music. Absolutely go and do that if you've got the creative chops to pull that off. That's fine. But I think sometimes when you're doing world building, you start to create concrete answers to questions that could otherwise be more abstract and nebulous. And I like it when I know that something can just be abstract or nebulous. But now that there is lore, established lore, I can't say that for certain. I'm not mad. I'm frustrated. I am confused. I don't know what to do right now with myself. I don't know what to do with my hands. I never know what to do with my hands. I just don't know. My hands are too big. Look at these stupid things. What am I supposed to do with these? When I'm not like, resting them on my arm rests. Because my arms are too long for these arm rests, so my hands are just like hanging off like an effeminate Tyrannosaurus Rex. And I don't know what to do there, but I can't move them back like this, because that doesn't feel comfortable. That's not natural at all. So where the hell do I put my hands, and what the hell does this song mean? I guess is what I'm asking. I don't know. And I'm gonna approach this song with the approach of I don't need to know. I'm gonna approach this song, which is very clearly in-world, and I am going to take whatever abstract universal meaning out of it as I can, so that I don't have to rely on my limited knowledge of the lore. So with that said, let's do that. Chorus. I would swim the Paladin Strait. I would swim a large body of water. Could be any body of water. Could be the Paladin Strait. Could be the frickin' Georgia Strait. I don't know. I'd swim it. Without any flotation, just a glimpse of visual aid of you on the other shoreline. Waiting, expectations that I'm gonna make it. Great. We've got a sense of we are filled with determination that we are going to reach our goal. There's someone worth coming to on the other side. Maybe it's Josh. Maybe it's someone you care about. Maybe it's not Josh. This has nothing to do with the lore. Nothing to do with the lore. It's just someone that you care about is on the other side. All right? Verse 1. I can't be alone. Guess I never told you so. Making my way towards you. Tracing out a line. A route I've mapped 1,000 times. Making my way towards you. Okay, so this is an establishment of relationship. It's also an acknowledgement that even though we have come very far in our journey, in our mental health journey, in our personal growth journey, we are still very, very uncomfortable with the idea of being alone. That's fair. That's valid. And I guess this is something that they've never told to the other person that they usually rely on to not be alone. So we are making our way towards that person, tracing out a line, a route that we've mapped 1,000 times. We know how to get there. This is a trip that is well worn from use. It's a familiar trip. It's a reliable one. All right. Verse 2. we upped the stakes a bit. Standing on the shore, staring down a hurtling storm, making its way toward me, water ripped with rage, endless row of angry waves, making its way towards me. Alright, there is now danger. There was some abstract, like, theoretical danger in the idea of, swimming across a strait. But now there is physical, tangible danger in the form of a storm and large waves. Alright? Alright? We're following that. Then, bridge. Here's my chance. Time to take it. Can't be sure that I'll make it, even though I'm past the point of no return. I'm all in. I'm surrounded. Put my money where my mouth is, even though I'm past the point of no return. We are scared. We are nervous. We are not sure if we're going to make it. But we know we have put our trust in this relationship time and time again. And it is time to put that trust to the truest test of life and death stakes. And trusting that we're going to find the right person. And then we get the chorus, and then we get birds chirping, which implies that we did in fact make it across to this other place. On the ground are banditos fighting while I find Nico, whoever the hell that is. Even though I'm past the point of no return, climb the top of the tower, show yourself, I yell louder, even though I'm past the point of no return. And then this other nonsense happened. Who knows what that's all about? Who's to say? Who's to frickin' say? I'm not to say. Maybe you're to say, but I don't need you to be the one to say. All right? I've enjoyed this album the whole dang way through without ever having had a solid handle on the lore. I have been able to enjoy Blurryface when it came out. I enjoyed Trench when it came out. I enjoyed it. Trench was around the time when I really got the sense that there was lore involved. Scaled and Icy, I listened to and enjoyed a couple of the songs and was aware that it had some sort of use in the lore, but I wasn't really paying attention because I didn't like the album very much. And now here I am enjoying this album as it is, with or without the lore. And if you're like me and you've approached 21 Pilots music the same way, then I'm glad that you're here. If you are amongst the group of people that have put in the work to decode all of the puzzles and references and allusions and clues and things that Tyler and Josh have put in a lot of work to work into their music videos and their lyrics and their other promotional materials. Good. Hopefully you enjoyed doing that. I really hope that you did that out of sheer curiosity and an intrigue about the world that they have crafted. And hopefully not out of a insecurity to know enough to feel like a real fan. If you are someone that knows all the lore and has specifically learned the lore in order to feel superior to other fans, thank you for watching. I genuinely did enjoy this album. I thought this was a really fun route for 21 Pilots to take. I am excited for whatever direction they head into in their next release. Whenever it comes out, they tend to take their time with releasing new stuff. So who knows when we'll be getting more 21 Pilots, but I'm looking forward to what they have in store in the future. If you have thoughts about this album, feel free to put them in the comments. I read all of them. I don't necessarily respond to all of them, but I do read all of them. If there are other albums that you would like to see me react to, I'm not going to do the other 21 Pilots albums. I have listened to them all plenty of times. It just wouldn't be a genuine first time reaction. It simply would not. And that's what I like to do with these videos, and make sure that you are watching me react to it for the very first time as best I can. Sometimes it's unavoidable, but that has been the case with this album. I had never heard any of these songs up until me recording this, and that is how I prefer to keep things. If you have not subscribed, now's a good time to do that. I do a lot of this. I do a lot of video gaming. I do some silly games and whatnot with my friends every now and then on live streams. It would be great to have you join us. If you would like to support this channel in a monetary fashion, you can head on over to my Fourth Wall site, either buy merch. You can send a one-time donation if that's your speed. You can become a member and get access to some exclusive content. Gets into our Discord server. Gets some merch discounts. Find the tier that works for you. You'll find your name at the end of these videos. If not this one, then the next one. And that contribution is hugely appreciated. Until next time, thank you so much, and I'll see you later.